Godspeed to the Speedy tribe. Your boy, Speedy Shepherd, back. And you are watching another episode of the Now What podcast show. Today I have a young man who is on a trajectory of being great. He's already great, but he's going to even be greater in his future endeavors and career. The son of a legend who's creating his own legend. Because I want to respect that. You have a legacy that you are looking to embark on and carve for yourself, man. I bring to you my boy, Jacob Henry. Nice to meet you, brother. Yes, sir. Appreciate you being on the pod, man. I'm gonna cut right into it, man. And I'm gonna speak to you, because you 20, bro, but I know you carry yourself like you got the wisdom of a 35-year-old. And that's due to you being around, your father, right? Did you grow up, where you grew up at?
I actually grew up here in New York. Was born and raised in Manhattan and Harlem. And when I was about 9, I moved to Austin.
Austin, Texas. So you growing up under the household of Mark Henry, right? That's being your father, right? You growing up being who you were, how effective was his teachings for you to become the young man that you are now?
Very influential, just helping me build a process and knowing that you have to have a certain mindset to reach your accomplishments, developing a level of focus and mental toughness, and finding a level of strain, a competitive strain, a mental strain, because that's what's going to make you better at the end of the day. So, I feel like that's something that I just kind of grew up, like discipline, toughness, effort, honor, like just those kind of ground bases. So
you at the University of Oklahoma right now, right? And you're doing your thing on the football field. I'm a former football player myself, bro, so, I can speak the language like you speak. And I'm a coach, too, right. So I speak the language really good, too, like you, man. And you being where you are now, how did you get into football, right? So you were a wrestler in high school, and then you just said...
I played football in middle school through high school.
Yeah, complete. So you did both.
Yeah, I was playing every sport until I couldn't.
Wow.
Like, once you get to high school, you got to start kind of choosing. I was playing football, basketball, wrestling, track.
Why football?
It's one of those sports, man, you only get so much time doing it. Like you could really play any other sport until you're gray and old and you can't even lift and work out no more. But, football is one of those things, it's a habit. Like, it's all year, but you only have so much time to play the sport, it's a small percentage of a group of guys that get to play all the way through high school, all the way to college, and then go on to play like 10 years in the NFL. Because the average career is pretty sure not even 3 anymore. It's 1.2 or 1.3. That's a year and a half.
Yeah.
Not even.
What does NFL stand for?
Shit.
Not for long.
Not for long. Never. That's
man.
It's one of those things, man. I appreciate the sport because it's a level of physicality, it's a level of toughness, it's a level of togetherness. Mm-hmm. The better connected team is going to win every single week. Players are going to make plays, moments are going to happen in the game. The refs can sometimes decide the outcome, but teams that usually win are the better connected teams. And
do you plan on going far with it?
I plan on, going until I think I'm probably going to walk away from the sport after college because I want to be a professional wrestler, and that's been the career I've wanted since I was 6 years old. Wow. But that's why I say football there's an expiration date. In my mind I know where my expiration date is because I'm like, it's my turn.
When did you figure that out?
I figured it out in high school. I told myself, I manifested what I wanted. I said I want to wrestle and play football in high school and go as far as I could in both sports, which I'm grateful I did, and just play college football or play a collegiate sport and then go on to live my dream of being a pro wrestler. It's been what I've wanted to do since I was 5, 6 years old. Just growing up around the business and seeing what the business has to offer and just learning to respect the business. That's really what makes me love it so much, and that's it. They say wrestling's like a drug, man. Once you get hooked on it, it's hard to get off. So
I can attest as a watcher, as a viewer. I never wrestled, but I can attest. I have a question, very important one. Being that you have your purpose and everything in order, right, and you know exactly what you're going after, what are the challenges right now for you? Like, the challenges is not staying disciplined, right? But, because you know exactly what you want. But if there are some challenges, what are they?
Challenges is just, you have to have that belief, unwavered confidence and belief in yourself at all times. Trying not to grow weary when it doesn't go your way, and just staying focused on your main goals. It's super easy to get distracted with outside noise, outside people that want to see you fail. So it's really just keeping yourself in the aspect of, hey, like, I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I want to do, and I know what it requires, so I just got to go do it. No questions asked. And 9 times out of 10, you'll find out the result that you want. And even if you don't, you can at least reflect and reassess that, hey, you put your time, you put your confidence, you put your effort into something. And that shapes who you are as a person just right there on its own.
What is your favorite thing about college right now?
Just meeting people and building connections. I feel like we're in a timeline, especially in the era of the way college is now, with college football, with the transfer portal, and with NIL, which is great. I'm a huge advocate of it. I'm a huge supporter of it. Just everything in that aspect, and then trying to meet people off campus, off your sport. That's another challenge in itself, going to class and seeing if you can meet people and build connections, because you never know how those relationships and connections work 20 years down the line, 15 years down the line. So I feel like it's also the campus's job to promote that inclusivity, to make people want to feel involved and make friends and go out and do stuff and join fraternities and sororities and organizations. That you don't understand that until you really step on campus. Even as an athlete, because as an athlete, you already have your own identity there. So then it's if you want to do some others, there's people that are athletes that go on to do other things. So you never really know.
As you being an advocate for NILs and you being a college athlete, right? How important is brand and imaging when it comes to that?
It's super important. You got to promote yourself. It's a consistent thing of people want to know what you're doing. People are nosy. It's human nature. When you post that's why we post on social media. That's why we post Instagram and Snap and TikTok and all this other stuff. It's so people can know what you're doing, see what you're up to. So when you promote yourself, you're literally making yourself an image. You're making yourself a brand. People make themselves a brand every day and don't even know they're doing it. So it's they think they're just doing something because it looks good, or because they look cute, or they think that they're doing this. No, you're branding yourself. And it could be good or bad. It's just that it's how you make the decision of how you want it to be. But for me, I love social media. It's cool, finding things that you can relate to, finding things that you might not relate to, and just everybody's got a voice. It's almost too much sometimes, but it's it's a good thing.
You grew up, you had a lot of disciplinary things that you learned from your father. What is something that stood out from his teachings and upbringings during your upbringing?
Just to stay humble and, have that mindset of, I'm going to get it by any means necessary. I feel like people can find comfort and satisfaction. And for me, it's always knowing that, hey, there's so much more that you can accomplish. And potential is potential until it's actually happening. So it's just, for me, just holding on to keeping the focus and keeping the main things.
That sounds like something he would say right there. Keeping the main thing. Something that I live by is crossing that bridge when you get there, right? Don't never worry, never waver about things. Just always be ready. When you get to that bridge, cross it. But don't worry about crossing it when you're not even there yet. No. So, right now, what is the hardest thing about college football, you would say? Or is it any challenges at all? Or you're well adjusted to it?
I feel like it's really just a system. There's so many different schemes, and I think honestly, just getting to the level of seeing what high level football is intense. Knowing what a 4-minute offense is, knowing what a 2-minute offense is, knowing how important the first drive of the game is. certain situations, identifications, and stuff like that. So for me, I feel like that was one of the challenges. But, you know, just embracing the physicality. Physicality was never an issue. Like, I love how physical my team was this year. You know, just trying to lay the wood every single day, competing in practice, competitive practices. You know, if you can't compete in practice, you're not going to be able to compete on game day. You know, you got to have that. You got to have that competitive fire and edge during the week. And sometimes, you know, it's going to get chippy. It's going to get, you know, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the way you want it. But you just got to go out there and grit your teeth and let it ride.
So you spoke about earlier about wanting to be a professional wrestler. That's your goal. That's your ultimate goal. Right now, on your way to that after you graduate college, right? Do you feel as though, and when it comes to legacy, is it more so you want to follow behind, or do you want to carve your own?
I'm carving my own, and I got to expand the legacy. You know, we always talk about in our family just the amount of people in our family accomplished so many different great things. You know, my dad having a successful professional wrestling and strongman and weightlifting career, his brother having a really successful collegiate football career, and then the amount of cousins that I currently have that are in college competing in sports in every different sport. And then, you know, we always talked about it growing up whenever we'd have those reunions, me and my cousins, you know, wanting to be who's next, you know, who's the next person up in our family that's gonna take the name and, you know, bring it to new heights. You know what I'm saying? And I get fired up and emotional thinking about it, because it's like every day, you know, you dream about those opportunities. So to get that it's really what drives you, you know, and getting to see all the others that are in your family doing the things they're doing and seeing them win, because at the end of the day, you're expanding the growth of the name. And when you can expand that growth of the name, it's forever, it's immortal.
I can't ask you now what, only due to the fact that you're not over with your career. What year are you in right now? You're a sophomore, right? So I can't ask you what now. Now what? But what I will like to ask you is, youngins that's in high school right now, looking to get to that next level, football more specifically, right? Give them some pointers and some tips on how to conduct themselves.
Man, keep the main thing. Be respectful, go to class, do all the stuff that's required. You know, it's the details. And, you know, that bill of regret, our coach always tells us that bill of regret is not the check you're trying to cash, because it's a very bittersweet one. And you know, keep the main thing. Watch film, train, eat, lift weights, diet. You know, if do calisthenics, you know, you do what you got to do to get yourself right on game day, and treat practice like game day. Because when you do that, you're not going to get hurt as much, one. And two, you're going to be ready, because on game day, you're actually going to be prepared, and you won't be feeling like you're going through the motions. I feel like it takes a lot of teams, what they struggle with is going through the motions during a game. They have mental lapses, and that's really what can cause a touchdown drive or making a game a game when it really shouldn't be. So, you know, it's having that absolute focus, detail, in, you know, doing what winning requires every single day.
Listen, man, y'all tuned in to another episode of the Now What podcast. I'm your host, Speedy Shepherd, Mr. Jacob Henry himself, young legend in the making. Y'all stay tuned with what's to come. WWE, y'all gonna be in some good hands in the future. Y'all better know that. All right? Don't sleep, man. It's only greatness coming your way. Appreciate you, bro. Anytime, bro. Anytime.